An arrow slices the air and buries itself in wood, a silent warning from an unseen world. The sea holds its breath and fear ripples through the boat. Across the blue horizon lies an island untouched by time. No cities, no ports, only jungle shadows and eyes that have watched outsiders vanish. North Sentinel Island, forbidden speck in the Bay of Bengal, where modern maps end and prehistory still breathes. Here, isolation isn't punishment, it's protection. The Indian government guards its silence, a barrier drawn in the name of survival. This is no legend locked in old books. As recently as 2018, one man's faith reignited a century-old warning. Some boundaries should never be crossed. It began in the 1800s, when British explorers set foot where no invitation waited. Curiosity became catastrophe within days. 6 islanders were taken from their home. The adults died within weeks. The children returned, carrying sickness their people had never known. A map, once drawn with ink and arrogance, now bears the scars of regret. History remembers the cost of that first contact. In 1974, cameras tried again, and an arrow answered. The director pulled the shaft from his leg, blood mixing with the tide. The film never showed their faces, only a truth more powerful than any image. They do not want to be found. Through the 1980s and 90s, gifts replaced guns. Coconuts were left on the shore like offerings to a god that never spoke. Sometimes the islanders accepted the gifts, sometimes arrows flew. Every approach was a question, every retreat an answer. Anthropologist T.N. Pandit stood unarmed in the surf, facing bows drawn to kill, until, slowly, they lowered them and took the coconuts. Then came 2004. The tsunami swallowed the Andamans and the world feared the Sentinelese were gone. They weren't. A lone man appeared on the beach, bow raised toward a rescue helicopter. His message was clear: we survived. Now leave. 2 years later, 2 fishermen drifted too close, chasing crabs in the dark. By sunrise, they were gone, their fate tied to bamboo and silence. No rescue came, no charges were filed. The government looked away, understanding that some justice lies beyond human law. In 2018, an American missionary named John Allen Chow broke the silence. He carried a Bible and dreams of salvation into a storm of arrows. One arrow pierced his Bible, a warning he didn't heed. Days later, fishermen watched his body dragged across the sand. The world mourned and argued, but the island stayed silent. Its law is older than ours, his verdict final and wordless. Authorities arrested the fishermen who helped Chow, but in time they were freed. The island remained untouched, the world beyond jurisdiction. What we know of the Sentinelese is little more than whispers, distant glimpses through binoculars and drone lenses that dare not linger. Some say there are 50 of them, others claim 500. The truth hides beneath the canopy, guarded by silence and arrows. No outsider has ever spoken their language, their words, their stories, their laughter, all lost to the winds above the jungle. Every documented approach ends the same way, with a drawn bow, a shouted warning, and a retreat into mystery. Pandit's journals describe their gestures, hands motioning for him to leave, weapons lowered yet ready, a language of survival, wordless and clear. Chow's diary tells his final thoughts, fear, faith, and fascination tangled on the edge of death. His words ended where their arrows began. The fishermen's testimonies confirmed what they saw, the body dragged toward the trees, swallowed by green silence forever. From above, satellites traced the island's secrets, patches of clearing, smoke from unseen fires, lives moving just beyond human reach. No fields, no cities, just a people living as their ancestors did. Hunters, gatherers, guardians of the last untouched world. Some scholars believe hostility isn't hatred, it's memory. A warning born from centuries of survival against the diseases of outsiders. Others argue that peace was possible once. The Pandit's quiet patience proved understanding can exist without words. But peace requires 2 sides willing to meet, and the Sentinelese have chosen distance over destruction, silence over surrender. Science debates what isolation costs. Can a people thrive, cut off from the world, or does purity become its own prison? Genetic studies suggest their bloodline is ancient, their diversity fragile, yet still unbroken after 60,000 years. Rising seas now threaten that fragile world. Climate change may one day force them from the island they've called home forever. If that day comes, the choice won't be theirs. Contact will find them not by will, but by the rising tide. The 2006 fishermen deaths remain murky. No investigation, no proof, only rumours that drifted like waves between fear and guilt. Some say they were drunk, others say unlucky. The truth lies buried in salt and silence, guarded by a tribe that answers only with arrows. Every event leaves one truth unshaken. The island endures because it refuses us. Its survival is the world's last act of defiance. John Allen Chow's family spoke with grace, not anger. They forgave the tribe, asking the world to do the same. To them, his death wasn't murder, but consequence, the collision of faith and a world that wanted to be left alone. His friends called him brave, his critics called him reckless. Between those words lies the thin line where belief meets arrogance. The Sentinelers didn't act in hate. To them, he was a stranger carrying invisible death, the same death that once erased their neighbours. The Great Undermanese once numbered in the thousands. Contact reduced them to dozens. The Sentinelese learned and never forgot. To outsiders, their arrows are violence. To them, they're a shield, the only language left to protect their bloodline. For the fishermen who ferried Chow, the story didn't end. Poverty and prosecution became their punishment for a dream not their own. They said they didn't understand his mission, only that he paid well and the sea was calm that night. Their names faded from headlines, but the fear remained of what happens when faith, hunger, and isolation collide. Anthropologists call North Sentinel a biological firewall, a living reminder that the smallest germs can become the deadliest invaders. One foreign cough could erase them. A handshake could start an extinction. That's why the island stays forbidden. Indian law protects them not through contact, but distance. It's the only law written entirely in absence. This island is sovereign, not through armies or borders, but through silence. A nation of one people, one memory, one rule. Stay away. Protection here means restraint. The government guards them by doing nothing. A rare act of power through patience. Experts debate ethics. Can isolation be freedom, or is it abandonment dressed as respect? Most agree on one truth. The Sentinelese have spoken without words for a century. Every arrow says the same thing. No. In their defiance lies purity, a culture untouched, unstudied, and unbroken. They owe nothing to history but their existence. Some anthropologists fear time itself will force their hand. Rising waters, stronger storms, nature becoming the next intruder. Technology watches from afar. Satellites, drones, distant sensors, science learning to respect by staying silent. Perhaps that's the future. Studying without touching, knowing without destroying. A fragile balance between curiosity and conscience. Some say the Sentinelese hostility hides curiosity, a flicker of recognition in the eyes before the bows raised. Others say peace is impossible. Every boat, every camera, every gift, all look the same as invasion to them. Scientists estimate no more than 500 Sentinelese remain, enough to sustain life, but only if untouched. No one has heard their language, not a single word translated, not a single sentence understood. Their silence is complete. Still, their world thrives. Small fires glowing through the trees, footprints in the sand, proof of a civilization unseen. Somewhere within those forests, their ancestors' memories live. Unbroken lines stretching back 60,000 years. To reach them would mean rewriting human history. To leave them means preserving it. The island itself feels sacred. An emerald shard in a blue sea, guarded not by walls, but by will. Each failed expedition adds another layer of warning, another echo whispering, this place is not yours. Even the wind carries defiance here, rustling palms that seem to say, stay away, stay away. As decades pass, the question shifts, not how to reach them, but how to protect them from us. The exclusion zone stands firm, 3 miles of ocean that mean everything between survival and extinction. For now it works. Governments, fishermen and dreamers all keep their distance. Curiosity always circles back. Rising seas may one day shrink their home. When the waves come, no border will matter. If that day arrives, the world will face an impossible choice, to intervene or to watch a culture disappear. Technology grows stronger, the satellites mapping every tree, algorithms counting every roof, curiosity wrapped in respect. Perhaps we'll learn more without touching, a lesson the Sentinelers have been teaching since the first arrow flew. They remind us that not every mystery needs solving. Some are sacred, surviving precisely because they remain unknown. In their silence lies humanity's reflection, a reminder of who we were before the noise of civilization drowned the wild. The Sentinelese don't need saving. They already are what we've forgotten to be, free, unbroken, and untouched by time.